Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to have you all here. I'm just getting comfortable. If it sounds like I'm moving around, it is because I am. So we'll be starting here in just a moment. My god, what turn are we on? We're on turn 41. Sorry, no, turn 28. Episode 41. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. No, things are getting really interesting. They've been interesting for a while. It's been on and off in terms of intensity. We had a fairly good turn last turn. Crossing the fingers. Crossing those bloody claws. Then we'll have another good turn. I do worry. He did see where the Kitak army was. It does make me wonder, is this where we see carriers? We don't really know much about what's going on in the situation. That's the problem. Yeah. Indeed, Tiger. Good to have you there. Alexander, good to see you. I always dread this. Okay. Oh, did I load the wrong one? Did I actually transfer the save? I don't think I transferred the save. Give me a moment. I think I forgot to do that. I did, in fact, forget to do that. Via uno momento here. Right, there we go. Put that in there. Place that old one. There we go. Let's make sure it's working. Alright, there we go. Ah, thank you very much for that OCB. Much appreciated, my man. Good to have you. Where's the game quiet now? That's weird. We relaunched the game. It went silent there for a second. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Northern X. I miss the times when he wouldn't name the turns. I feel like when he didn't name them, things are okay. But we'll see. There's not that much that could go wrong. That's the way I look at it. It's like, well, how much could really go wrong today? And it's like, not that much. So we'll have to see. Okay. That's another island there, which is handy. I don't think there's anything on them, but it helps to prevent it from transferring supplies through the actual ports. And there, Sean. Started following you with THG, though on his side, I'm now following you here too. And that's nice. Oh, thanks, man. That'd be much appreciated. Right, so moving our forces out to Banjarmasin. Marson. S37 being a pain once again. Yeah, I do need to get these guys moving. Really shouldn't linger here. But they'll be moving shortly. Yeah, S37's had some good success over here at Jolo. But these Dutch subs are just nasty anyhow, as we know. We know very well. Hey, doing there, Keith? Good to have you. Yeah, good to have you there as well, Shiva. Even though you go by many names. Okay, so the patrol boat goes down. Not ideal. We'll have those forces moving. I think we might move upon... I think I will move upon Tanakan, or at least move them out. I think we need to do one of the two things there. Indeed, explosive reactive armor. S37 being a pain again. She's been depth charged this time. See, it does tell you in the manual about each island and what sort of terrain it is. I don't know whether it actually tells you if it is like shallow waters or not. Not super sure. We're causing some damage here. It'd be nice if we had like a penetration. A little bit of damage, not that much. Okay. Right, the escort abandons the search for this up. Right, 2 hits there. We'll get them moving out this turn then, really. Hi, those subs are nasty. Okay. 96% moonlight. Moving into the 4th of January, I believe it is. I am feeling the nerves now, not gonna lie. I definitely am feeling this anxiety. Oh, God, we'll see. Right, we've seen submarines around the area. The motor launchers over there, the PT boats are not too surprising. Submarine over there. Now, the interesting thing is that... Right, okay, I am doing actual deliberate reconnaissance over Darwin this time around. I do want to try and see what actually is at Darwin. Right, Haces KL spots something apparently. 2 allied ships being there at Wake. How you doing there, Major? Good to have you. So still seeing those ships down to Wake. Damn. That's not good with the Jakes. I don't know which, I don't know where the Jakes are actually coming from, actually. That's rather interesting. I'll have to go ahead and check that out. Oh, that's cool then, Major. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I'm going to have to take a look at where those Jakes have been shot down from. I can't recall them being... Oh, it must be... I tell you what, it'd be from the actual ships there. That's actually really surprising. I could probably stand them down on the ships, actually, but I'm surprised about that. Okay. Airstrikes. Mission cancelled over there. The Wake mission cancelled due to bad weather. Not ideal. I wanted that reconnaissance. Okay. Right, so it's aware of the G4s over Darwin. Right, so we have our strike against Singapore over here. We'll have his sallies come in shortly thereafter. I'm glad he's not defending this. I'm going to be sweeping over Batavia, so I'm hoping that we can actually try and deal some damage there. Yeah. I think the mistake was not keeping the bombardment to Singapore. But then again, I didn't think things would go as they did. Could have been better, could have been worse, but I mean, this is it. We're at a point where it will fall, it's just a matter of time. Right. But yeah, we should have kept up the bombardment of the airfield, preventing him from actually building fortifications. That would have been ideal. I suppose it's me getting a little bit too eager there. But it's all lessons learned, which is a good thing. Okay. Right, so we're going through the first phase there into the PM phase. Oil slicks, right, we did damage a submarine, I do believe. Actually, no, I'm not too sure. AP reported hit there. Patrol craft, righto. Right, reports oil slick there. Right, that conning tower report might be in fact a sub. Right, he's got subs over there at Porto Princesa. Obviously, I just moved out of there. Gotta keep moving, really. Alright, PBY. I'd imagine that's going to be flying out either... It's going to be flying from somewhere. Right, so we spotted elements of the Kiddipatai down there. It's a difficult one, really, because I want to show sort of like the flag say, look, if you attack here, then Kiddipatai is here to defend. Right. So we do have the Ki-43s going in here with the G3s. I don't have an actual sweep this time around. He didn't previously have fighters, so we'll see how we get on here. He did have the B-17s, which is why I've actually had the A-62s actually run the cap here this time around. So see, we do have 16 of them. They're diving from very high benefit, 3,000 feet. Very high altitude. So we might lose a couple G3s, we'll have to see how we go on there. Oh, we do manage to make it through a decent number, so that's good news. Into the runway is always good. There's not going to be that much in the way of damage here due to them being intercepted. But even any damage is good there. Yeah, a few hits on the runway. That's good in just in and of itself there, really. I can live with that as is. Honestly, would have been better with more damage, but I'm not that greedy. We'll see if we see any B-17s this time around, though. That's going to be the interesting one. At least we'll actually have A-62 Zeros respond to that. Yeah, you see there, 49 sounds coming in together. That's nice. That'll give us a good few hits on the runway there. It's going to be another... I don't know, we'll see. I think we're coming into the 4th of January today, so we'd be looking at potentially attacking tomorrow. We'll see where everything is, really. We'll see how the actual units are looking, and whether or not it'd be worthwhile having another day's rest. I mean, this is a beautiful thing. Due to the fact that we are hitting the actual airfield again, he won't be able to build those fortifications. Right, okay, so a few casualties caused there. We actually disabled an engineer. Nothing too impactful. Alright, we'll have the air activity over Rangoon. I've reduced the amount of bombers hitting Rangoon today. I'm still waiting for the time, but he just arrives with HH1s on the scene, but we'll see. It looks like it actually doesn't go ahead today, which is odd. We didn't have the sweep over Batavia either today, which is a shame. Might not be a bad thing. Might actually give them some enforced rest. But I would have preferred to kept up that pressure. But then again, this is weather, isn't it? Can't control it. But it looks good so far. Yes, right, moving into the land phase. So fairly quiet so far, which I'm not too worried about. Okay. So we do have another bombardment over here at Clark. As far as I can tell, things have not moved. Do we have... Yes, so the 14th Army headquarters has arrived here today. Of course, we do have additional engineers. The fact is we're giving them that additional time to rest, which I'm quite happy with. There's some strong units over here. I do have those artillery pieces and anti-tank guns arriving soon enough as well, actually. It might be worthwhile just to wait for those additional artillery pieces, for especially the AT guns. But then again, they're not going to make that much of a difference, are they, really? We do have the brigade over here, which I've actually told to plan for Clark as well. And it's going to be a big battle once we do win it, which we will win it. Manila is nowhere near as hard. It's ×2. Batan's ×2. Right, so we actually do quite well there. I mean, 5 destroyed there, 4 disabled. Obviously, these vehicles could be many different vehicles, most likely trucks. We do inflict 22 casualties there, and we are destroying units, which is quite good there. 1 destroyed, 1 destroyed, 1 destroyed, 1 destroyed. That's nice. Only 1 disabled vehicle there, but actually destroying them is quite nice. So we see here 754. He's still got a lot there, but this is where we probably want to have as much as we can. So we do have another attack over here with the 7th Tank Regiment. I did give them a superior commander. There's a lot of units over here, so I ideally can force them to surrender. Not today, unfortunately, again. I do lose a vehicle, but that's 57. I do have another tank regiment on the way, so they will give out soon. They will give out soon, I should say. Bombardment over here. I'm going to have to surround that, try and force it to surrender before I shock attack it. Right, so we do have a allied deliberate attack over here, actually. Interesting. A lot of these units are in movement mode. There are some in combat mode, but they are vastly outnumbered, so this is not exactly good for him. I mean, this is it. He attacked, and these units just arrived this turn, so not ideal for him. Yeah, 4 versus 113. That didn't go particularly well for him. So we had 122 casualties, 2 destroyed, 12 disabled, 2 disabled. Obviously, we were in... Well, actually, no, we didn't suffer too bad there. Leaders fatigue, morale. He himself was in the wrong ops mode, which is interesting. It looks like he's pulling out. So he suffers there, 228 casualties, 2 destroyed, 31 disabled. So that's pretty nice. We can attack here next turn then, in fact, as we do have the majority of our forces now. So we do have the element of 4th Division here. I mean, this is it. That 4th Division wasn't up to full strength either. So we don't take it. God damn, that's close. So 43 to 5. I was hoping they'd surrender. But they'll give. They'll give soon enough. They've got nowhere to go. Okay, wow. It's actually a pretty quiet turn. I was like really worried there. But it's the things that you don't see that you need to worry about, really. But I'll take it. I'll take it. We don't secure the rest of Malaya today, but not too bad. We'll get there soon. We'll get there. I'm just happy that we didn't have anything destroyed, really. Ah, it's nice. Nice. Right. Thank God for that. Oh dear. Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens. Alright, okay. Yeah, we lost the Jakes over here. I've got to say that they're probably from the cruisers over here, in fact. I would be quite surprised if they came from other sources there. How you do that? I know, yeah, take a look at that. So, air losses. So, 2 G3s today to operationals, 2 Jakes to the actual fighters of Batavia, really. A Ki-59. So, we actually lost more aircraft today to, like, ops losses and etc. A H6K4 was lost there to Flak, unfortunately, because I really don't get that many of them. He does lose a P-40B. A H-81 goes down there, which is nice. Not seeing any B-17s. We didn't see any B-17s either, so it might have just been a bad case of weather across the board here, really. Not F6, F7, F7, sorry, is one I'm looking for. Yeah, there's a lot of cloud over here, moderate rain. Okay, thunderstorms over there. It was quiet, in fact, yes. I mean, this is what I worry about. I mean, there are going to be quiet turns. Let's see, we're not detected right now, which is good. I'd assume he has detected the KB. Yes, he has. It's not the full KB. We have taken a Kalagi out of there as well. We do not see the Trenton, which is not too surprising there. Okay. His forces are still moving. We should have more assault value here now. There's 4. Those H6K4s know how to move the wrong stuff. I mean, they're moving absolutely everything else but the infantry first, and it's like, come on, guys. You know what we need over there. Get your asses into gear. But that's 4 AV, so that's more than we had. Well, it's twice as much as we had last turn, so that makes it sound even better, doesn't it? So 52nd. Yeah, okay. So it's just the AT gun, the AMGs, but then it's the squads now, so we should have more of those available next turn. He spotted us over here. We didn't come under attack, which is by no means a actual point to take comfort in. He could still yet attack. We did see the Vindicators. No, was it the Banshees over here last time? But I need to get that unit into Lay, just to make sure we have enough to defend it, but also to have some actual tonnage available here at Lay would be quite nice to actually move assets around. Now, we do have fighters over here, which is nice. Does he actually know anything about the base? I can't quite tell yet. But we do have level 2 fortifications, so what I can do then is continue to work on the actual airfields, which is nice. Well, that's it. Any improvement is nice. I mean, this is its times 3 terrain. They have level 2 fortifications now. Even 4 AV is still going to be helpful. There's all these units over here as well, with their support where they'll fight too. So it's not as if they'd give in immediately. That's a good thing. Okay. We do have the 52nd Naval Guard. They're making progress. Yeah, so we've sort of somewhat shown the flag over here at Ontong Java. I'm going to have that moved out. Question comes down to what do we see over here. So I'm still seeing 1 unit, which is intriguing. I'm not super confident on the amount of reconnaissance there. As apparently there's DMSs, but I don't know, it's strange really. You'd think with the amount of H6K4s we have in the area you'd see more, but it looks like the weather's bad around there. So these guys still unknown, which is good. More oilers moving this way too, which is nice. So these guys didn't fly this turn due to the weather, unfortunately. I do have a couple more that I could give to them as replacements, but I do have more over here that are being repaired. 2, 3, yeah, those 10 days, they're nasty. Okay. So, S37 was successful over here, which is not exactly fun. Hey, Dimeshon, good to have you, my friend. Right, we do have an AK moving there. Right, we do have these forces moving as well. They can unload over there. And they're moving in as well. Can guard and a decoy. I'm trying to move the amount of logistics, yeah. I mean, the issue was I went in here, and it was somewhat difficult to actually get additional reinforcements down here due to a lot of potential reasons. Mostly due to the Philippines being a potential threat. And also the submarine campaign. But I need a hell of a lot more engineers. I need more aviation units around here. So that's what's coming down this way, is more of those. So if I take a look, so that unit's stationary. Are they still not at Lahat? How bloody long? Oh, brilliant. Okay. 2 miles left. Typical. Typical bloody actions there. Right. It wasn't that busy actually, there wasn't too much that went on, which was nice. It looks like weather caused a lot of things to not happen, which I'm not too miffed about. I'm not too miffed about. Okay, so they will arrive there next turn. I can move them in combat mode, where they'd move only 30. We did lose a vehicle here last turn. Probably better on waiting. I'll wait for the 2nd tank regiment to arrive, and that should be enough. We do see another unit down here, which is intriguing. Okay, just the 1 unit. I do have the armor over here, but I could actually send south. Yeah, the tanks will arrive there next turn, so I might as well have them move. It's not perfect terrain, but at least I can deal with that unit then. Ideally try and force it to surrender, really. I mean, they're not just armor. I mean, like, we have this unit over here, which does have motorized. There's some cavalry in here as well. So at least we actually have some infantry in there, as well as the armor. So it gives us a little bit more to work with. Some support is always a nice thing too. So they can move south there. They'll arrive next turn. It's times 3 terrain, which is not exactly ideal, so I'd imagine they're going to be out of supplies. They're not going to have much, if anything, are they? That unit's moving south there. That regiment's moving south towards Temla. As I say, in a few days we'll be able to get everything moving from Malaya, and then begin the Burma campaign, really. So our headquarters has arrived over here. These naval construction units have arrived over here as well. They're not going to be in combat, of course, but I mean, that support's not too bad. I mean, that support does help. Engineers may help. but not really. They're going to be here really to build the base up afterwards. But we can see here then the 4th Division has enough support. The Imperial Guard Division has more support than it requires now, which is good. And you can see here the 33rd Division has more support than required. So that helps them to actually recover, which is good news. So if we take a look over here then. Oh, the headquarters hasn't arrived yet. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, that's typical. That is typical. I'll have them move in combat mode then. That's pretty typical. I have been around as much for turns because you... Oh, haven't. I don't know who Dr. Alexander Clark is, but... That's a cool name. Okay. Well, we have that additional support there. So we're at 39 fatigue, 36, 33, 12, 12, 10. We may just wait on the actual headquarters to arrive. I suppose this is the way we have to look at it, really. I mean, they're already regaining units. So we have here 27 airfield damage. Okay. So there's a 55 fighters now, 24 bombers. He has a lot of aircraft over there. He's going to make that really difficult for me. It's just going to take a lot of zeros to finally chew through that son of a bitch. Alright, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, he's running detection out here, which is intriguing. That was really good. That sounds cool. Right, AK's moving through here is excellent. Okay, ANC Shofuku, is it? Shofuku Maru moving into the actual Port Venekandarai. So that's good, at least she'll be able to maintain the minefield there. Not the entire minefield, but a decent chunk of it. Though, how many mines do we actually have over here at Kandarai? 157, yeah. Yeah, she'll be able to maintain the vast majority of those, which is not too bad. I did transfer over a aviation unit here. There we go. I can't transfer the entirety of it because the entirety of it is those bloody searchlights as well, and those searchlights are a pain. Absolute pain. But they're over there now. So at least we have some engineers, so you can see they're working on repairing that damage. Expanding the airfield. No, it's not really needed at this moment in time. Just focus on repairs. Not like you had a choice there, but just do that. These forces managed to pull out, which is good news. They are detected, but they are moving beyond range, which is good. So it looks like he has no bombers here. It looks like that was an opportunistic raid there with the B-17s. But that does actually... It gives us something to think about there, really. There's 24 bombers here. There's still 13 auxiliary here. Now, he could be moving those bombers out to this way. So I'm looking over Darwin here. Unfortunately, I didn't get that much in the way of actual usable reconnaissance. I was kind of hoping I might be able to see like aircraft numbers. He could be moving the B-17s around to this sort of area here, really. Which I wouldn't put past him. It seems something very much like he would do. But we'll see about that. Right. That's a little bit annoying about not being in Lahat. I was hoping that we would have been able to begin the march north there, but apparently not. Oh well. I mean, that has been delayed very much so by them moving that way, but that was my fault for not taking into consideration that even an enemy base dot hex is still an enemy hex. Well, and you have to take it. You have to march to it, or they'll march around it. A little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Issei is going to arrive in port at Mersing today. Well, tomorrow. Well, in the night, actually. So she'll be able to move into Singapore to repair in the near future. Okay. Yes, we have had a little bit more rest here. We have 836 AV now. The issue is the 4th Division wasn't up to full strength when we crossed here as well, which is not exactly great. Hosho's over here now. She's just here. The question is, I don't want to move her too far. We do have enough fuel, but we don't have an infinite amount of fuel. We are going to have to pick a point at which we are going to have to return to. We could try to reduce the amount of fuel, but there's still going to be fuel usage. We'll see. It might be potentially worthwhile to move back north. We are going to have bases over here in Sumatra in the coming days, which is going to be great. Yes, here we go. So the Yokosuka first SLF has arrived. That's good. That's very, very important, in fact. So they've arrived. The other SLF unit is at the 3rd. Right, the 3rd's on its way, so the 3rd will be there tomorrow, which is good. Well, we haven't seen Hermes. Okay. Let's see. Right, so with the Yokosuka 1st SLF, I can secure a base tomorrow, which is good. Actually saying that, very strategic mode, so it's going to take them 2 days to unpack there. I don't think I'd be able to do that. Maybe we could drop them. I mean, this base is empty here, which is nice. Hey, doing there, Saltfish? Good to have you, my friend. So that base would fall tomorrow if I could fly them in, which would give me a base there to actually use. I do have the engineers to move engineers, sorry, the aircraft to move engineers in here. Which would give us the ability to have a little bit more naval search out this way. Yeah, it's just a point of consolidation here. Him attacking us over here at Moldmine was a little bit surprising. Obviously, it didn't go very well for him. These forces obviously have a lot of fatigue from the march. They will have supplies arriving shortly. Obviously, a lot of these forces have arrived just today. So we're now to 433 assault value here, which is nice. Am I building fortifications there? Let's see. Hey, doing there, Cato? Good to have you, my friend. My baby. Oh, dear. Oh, so they're building their own fortifications, okay. I was about 30 AV there, they lost a couple of those units there. Right, so I'm still not actually seeing aircraft around here. And amazingly, I don't have reconnaissance over Rangoon, so it just shows you the weather was bad over that area. Yeah, bad over that area. Not exactly great. I've lost sight of these ships over here as well. I imagine they're going to be heading to Colombo, so I'll have to keep following that up, really. Okay, so there's still the 4th RTA and the 6th RTA on their way as well. How far out are they? They'll be arriving soon enough. They'll arrive next turn, in fact. Which will be a whole other RTA division, which is 143 assault value, which is nice. So this is it. I think what we'll do then is we'll allow supply to build up over here. And then I think we will actually attack. That'd be nice. Though, let's see. What is the terrain here? The terrain is jungle. I could deliberate attack, but it might be a case of we just go for the shock attack. The reason being, well, it is ×2 terrain, sure, but they only have, what, like 30 odd assault value. If I shock attack him there, but at least I can actually cause him a great deal of problems. Yeah, it's been quite the ride, Bear Sword. It's been quite the ride. Admiral Dadman is an amazingly good player. And we haven't really seen that much from him so far. But it has hurt. Okay. The bombardment was okay. That was nice. We had the time to rest over here on purpose. The headquarters is here now, which is good. We're not quite there, the amount of support required, but it does go a long way in actually helping towards that. Right. Support required. So they have enough support here for the 21st Division. 38 requires quite a lot there. Prince of Wales, we torpedoed her twice. I haven't seen her for a long time. She managed to escape, which is really... It's remarkable how such large ships can actually escape when you have so much naval search, which is incredible. Yeah. I don't think he's doing anything like a AAR or anything of that nature, really. Which is probably a good thing. It reduces all the drama that comes from that sort of thing. But we did take down Repulse. Repulse was definitely sunk. She engaged in battle the Haruna and Congo and a task force off the coast of Singkawang. Afterwards, she took a good few Hail Mary shots. Is that the thing? Hail Mary? I don't know, that Americanism. Go for that Americanism. The big shot, the critical shot that we worked out really was a 36cm shell that landed in the engine, essentially. That crippled her, really. And then she took about, 6 torpedoes from G3s and G4s. Which, yeah, that kind of sealed the deal there. The Chad biplanes. Well, the only time we've really suffered with biplanes was from Hermes, and that was, yeah, this is a problem. Just not having that naval search. That was obviously well played, but it really has taught us lessons about moving that aggressively. But then this is the thing, it's easy to say, well, don't be so aggressive because bad things happen. But then you've got to be aggressive, because if you're not aggressive, you never know. You're definitely going to lose those targets. But it's obviously you just got to try and be cautious at the same time. We've got being out there. But then this is it. He's had years of experience. Oh dear. Other than that, no real problems with biplanes. We have been made to suffer tremendously at the hands of the actual enemy submarines. Yes, we do have our own submarines in the area. We do have 3 on the way over here at this moment. And there will be more submarines that will be moving to this area eventually. The plan will be that we move from base to base. I mean, the good thing is once I do take Blinson, then I can get some engineers in there. I need to prepare for that. What the idea is going to be is obviously to use a transportation aircraft to move them from Bangkok to over here. The issue is if they have any bloody searchlights, but this is where the JNF Kois come in really handy because they're just completely air transportable, which is nice. I am moving a unit over here, so these units are moving to this base here. I do have some engineers moving out to this base as well, so we'll be able to build that up. Yes, the construction units from down here are moving to the north. As you can see that we have 54th, 53rd. Speaking of construction units, Raphael. Yes, okay, so they are detected, and they're mostly unloaded here, which is good news. So I can put these guys into port. The good news is these guys these are Aidens. They're worth about 10 victory points. They're not exactly cheap, but the thing is, we have plenty of them. The Japanese Merchant Marine is pretty damn large. We do have a good couple hundred ships. We can build new ones to replace the ones that we lose as well, which is worthwhile. But these guys have a decent speed. They have good endurance. They can actually carry a decent amount. They're not invaluable. They're not cheap either. So they're kind of in that midpoint. But they're decent enough. I mean, that speed helps. Moving at 10 knots doesn't seem like that much at cruise, but that's still useful. Okay. Righto. So I do have the cruiser mine layers over here as well now. That one is a mine layer coastal one. But I can potentially lay down some mines here if I so wish to do so. This can go into port. Looks like you've run out of endurance there, which is fine. You've made it. You've made it. Mission accomplished. Now we have a size 3 port. I could probably get these guys in here on dock actually. Nearly. Yeah, close, close. Well, what I'm going to do is have the Noshiro Maru actually docked. And then we'll just take one ship out of there. Right, task forces then. So we'll just take the Atlantic Maru. She can remain outside, so what I'll do even is actually give her the patrol boats there. So we do have a decent amount of patrol boats here as well. These guys are cheap. Well, fairly cheap. You can see they're only 1 victory point, so it doesn't really get much cheaper than a Tosu. But they come in handy. So we can dock here then, and then they can unload. So you can see at Raphael, we are now up to 244 engineers and 7 vehicles, which is nice. So we're going to be up in this pretty dramatically. Yeah, well, this is it exactly, yeah. Well, this is it. Okay. We do have fuel over here as well, which is useful. Gives us a lot to work with. But the big thing here is the fact that I've been able to actually move shipping back into Raphael. We had to evacuate pretty much everything from Raphael. So it's good to actually have it here. Now, if I take a look over here, Akagi, which we did move to the north, which is no longer detected now, and goodbye severe storms, which is nice. So you can see that we do have the quiet detachment, the good detachment over here, which I have been able to resize to 81. It should be resized. Interesting. Should be resized. Interesting. Okay, maybe it just does it. I'm not too sure. I'd have to double check on how that works. Right. Oh, Hokuku. Where's that AMC? Yes, Hokuku Maru has arrived. That's okay. So that'll be another independent engineer regiment there. Well, not regiment, but independent engineer units. Are there regiments? I can't recall, actually. We have been engaging the Flying Tigers, the H-81s, slowly, but I mean, this is it. He hasn't committed them in a big way. We didn't have any reconnaissance over Rangoon this turn. We didn't have any flights over Rangoon, nor Batavia, in fact, this turn. So we don't really know too much. I know, well, I've got information on Batavia, but Rangoon we have nothing today, due to said weather. Right, they transferred these units, okay. So we have the DMS W3 at Saigon, returned to service. Okay, these destroyers have been returned to service, which is nice. And these guys I did manage to repair the repair ship, so that's good. So Bombardment expansive size 4, airfield lay, expansive fortifications size 2. Okay. Right. Okie dokie. Well, that's what I'm afraid of, really. I was going to attack Rangoon today, but I was going to do it with reduced bomber numbers. Let's see here, so by model. So, actually, no, that's not too bad, then. We had an enforced day of rest, which is not a bad thing. So it has given us that chance to recover that fatigue. It's also given him that time to recover fatigue, but it's not too bad for him. He's just running cap over his own base. It's not going to be hard. It's not going to be very hard for him at all. So at least that gives us that fatigue recovered for a day, which is not too bad. Has cut it in half, which is nice. But no, what I'm... Oh, right, okay, we actually... Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we see it. Now it makes sense. That's what we've been looking for all this time. So that will likely be the H81. So that will likely be the Flying Tigers. Interesting. Maru, I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look at that one up, actually. I think it just means ship, perhaps. So, I don't know. Something to take a look at. I'll grab my phone here and Google it. If anybody else wants to do it first, then you're more than welcome. Let's take a look. Merchants, okay. How you doing there, Duke? The word Maru, meaning circle, is often attached to Japanese ship names. The term Maru is used in divination and represents perfection or completeness of a ship as a small world of its own. Oh, that's interesting. Quite romantic there, actually. Okay, so as we were saying, so we do see that we have, I'm going to assume the Flying Tigers over there. I mean, 56 fighters, it does make sense. That's roughly the numbers of HH1s. So I think what we'll do here then is we really do change targets. There is potential to target the actual base itself, but I don't think that's a wise idea. I think if anything, that weather probably saves us quite a lot, because if these guys are shown up this turn, I don't think it would have done it for no reason, really. So I think we'll take the hint. I will deploy these bombers elsewhere. We can sweep, but even then, that's a lot of numbers there. We have to be quite delicate about how we go through this. We can deal with it, but it's one of those where you do want to outnumber the enemy as well. Especially the Flying Tigers, they're quite nasty. But that gives us something to work with. Thank God we actually had the foul weather there. It's given us the actual chance to rest our troops, well, rest our squadrons, and it has helped to reveal the enemy over here, which is nice. So really, if we take a look over here, so there's 10 units over here. We need to make good over here with the TIE forces. We do have another 195 assault value moving in there. Yeah, but that's it, but we don't want a fair fight. Never want a fair fight. So there's 433 here then. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to give them time to just accumulate that supply. I'll wait for these additional troops to arrive, and then we can actually attack here. I mean, the TIE forces are decent enough. They're not amazing, but it does represent a decent amount of assault value, which I can use. And it would probably give me enough to potentially push on Pagoo. But what I want to do then is make sure we hit this unit as hard as we possibly can over here at SunYan. And then at least I can actually cross the river there. That'll be a shock attack, but at least we'll have a couple of 100 AV to shock attack into that hex with. I will probably want to do some reconnaissance on that hex just to make sure there is nothing there. I don't think there's anything in there. But there's always that chance, and it's always good to try and have at least some forewarning of what you're moving into. I do have the RTC over here as well, which I can even move by ship as well. I can even potentially use them to take these bases here. Yeah, as Duke says. Alright, so we're still seeing the ships over here. I think they actually begin there, which is interesting. Surprised they hasn't moved them. But it looks like he has pulled out the B-17s. There's not that many fighters over here at Surabaya as well, which is intriguing. He's definitely moving a lot of the focus over here to Batavia. 12 fighters here then. Yeah, we'll have to think about how we want to do this, really. They've had some time to rest as well, which is not too bad. We've had some pretty decent rest around here, which is okay. Right. I have restarted production of the G4s. I'm going to need them. How the hell is that one unit? Oh, that one's based at Jujambe. Makes sense. I have stood down and rest. I'm going to sneeze here, so apologies. Excuse me. What is your unit? Oh, did I only move an element of them to Jujambe? Ah, yes, I did. Okay. So they're an ASW. And we have some additional elements over there. Okay. Whether or not that's really useful or not remains to be seen, but at least it gives us a little bit of an idea going on here. Yeah, but joke. Couldn't I say the same about him with my carriers? Obviously, if you don't know where things are, it's going to be bad, but how can I know when it is? We go through the same motions, don't we, Duke? It's like a dance. They're alright. I think people big them up because, let's take a look actually, when does the G3 arrive? I mean, it's a better aircraft, it's not something I'm rushing for. Let's see, G3. Yeah, they get that radar, but that radar doesn't activate until much later on, so... meh. I mean, it's obviously got greater range, which is nice. I mean, that 21 hex torpedo range is nice. I'm not going out of my way to research it. It'll arrive when it arrives anyway, in the historical date, and then I'll probably build it if needs be. The G4M1's alright for the time being. G3M2's alright as well. But we stopped building them because we had enough of them in stock. So we go over here to our airframes. So we're still expanding the zero production. We're near the finality, the end point of the A6M2 production run there. Nearly at full capacity, which is nice. I restarted the A6K4s, so we have those producing again. G3s, I mean, we'll produce quite a few. I mean, 30 a month there. I'm not producing G3M2s because I have enough in the pool there. Oscar production is obviously still increasing, but it's nearly finished now. There's 15 over here, but it's nearly finished over on these ones. Satellite production has been restarted. I guess so. Well, we have enough planes of certain types. I mean, we're quite flexible in our production, really. We are quite flexible in it. It depends, really. It just depends, really, what's going on. You lose a lot of aircraft to ops losses, really. If I take a look over here at the aircraft losses. Oh, right, here we go. I was destroyed an airfield to be where there were sunk in the carriers. I lost most of the actual aircraft to those bloody carriers being sank. But if we see over here, then destroyed by flak, air-to-air. There we go, operational losses. Yes. And so I've lost more aircraft to operational losses than to anything else. He's also 129 to operational losses. He's had 279 air-to-air losses, so it would have been really nice off if we hadn't had the carriers go down. But we're recovering from that. We'll have a new CVL in a few days, and we have host show, so we still retain that flexibility, which is nice. And obviously, we're just going to be working with that, taking into account obviously the threat that he's presented. Once we take the Sumatran bases, I can extend the naval search, especially Sabang would be nice to have a little bit further out here. Yeah, you can see the 21 would be the G4M range from Sabang, which is nice. How many of the MKB were modern types versus old types? Well, one's Hosho. What was it, Taisho? No, not Taisho. Forget the name of the other one. Was it Ryujo? I forget the names now. They're alright. Hey then, George. Good to have you, my friend. Oh, I missed you too, George. Good to have you, my friend. We had majority A5M4s, which I'm not happy about losing, because obviously I could have used them for train purposes elsewhere. B5M1s, and we lost some zeros on board there, which is not too fun. But yeah, majority A5M4s. I don't know, man. You can go back and look. Okay, so I'm not seeing any detection over here, but we do have our submarines patrolling around the area. Additional ones have arrived as well. Alright. Oh yeah, well that's it, it hurts, of course it hurts. But then this is it, it's like with the carriers, it's a shame because we lose that flexibility, but I still retain it with the Hosho. Obviously when we have the additional carrier, we'll be able to move upon that more. It's just one of those things, really. He played well, but this is it, we played into his hands, really. But, I mean, this is it. We're still here, still pushing. We're still winning victories, and this is how it goes, really. Okay. I'm been attempted to push upon Denpasar shortly. Especially with there being no bombers over here at Sorbaya. It does look like he's really favouring Batavia, which makes sense. He's obviously thinking, right, okay, he's going to try and bring them back through here. There's a great deal of mines over here at Batavia. Batavia can be dealt with. I may bring the rest of the A-System-2 squadron over here, back to Palembang. And in fairness, it might be time to actually bring the A-System-2 Zeros over here at Bangkok, down to Palembang. I do have the single A-System-2 detachment, which is over here at Makassar. But I have created a new A-System-2 detachment over here at Canton, is it? Yes, over here. Turn their upgrades off. There we go. So they're coming online. There's only 9 of them, but 9 of them still alright. I can still make use of them. So in 3 days we'll have all 9 of those. But that represents another squadron, which could be resized at a later date. So there's no resize there. But they are carrier-capable aircraft, so I could move them aboard a carrier, resize the squadron, fly them off, and actually just like fill it up and just have more zeros, essentially. But that's something we can work with. And it would be nice to have those A-System-2s there. The one thing is that you lost the second force that could stand up to the US Sun carriers. I don't know about that. I think that's like trying to see things as black and white. It's not like... I get where you're coming from, but it kind of ignores a lot of other things. I mean, yeah, if it was like a one-on-one fight, just carriers, then sure, but this is it. Like, as we said earlier on, we don't really intend to fight fair. So, it is what it is. And this is it. It's one of these things where carriers obviously do have a major appeal. People obviously think, oh my god, this is the war of the carriers, which it is to an extent. But they're not the only things. And it's certainly not won or lost by their defeat or sort of their destruction either. To an extent. I mean, this is it. There's always a contest. There's always more to it. But enough about the carriers, because people have a tendency to spend forever talking about carriers. It's like, they're gone. Okay. We're not dead. We're still moving on. I've still got one of them, which is not ideal. But I've still got one of them. Can move on. We'll have more soon. Carry on. Nothing else for it, really. Can't go crying home to mama. Right, so as we said, Ben, the Thai forces will rest there. We'll have the 2nd Tank Regiment arrive over here at Kuala Lumpur, and that'll be the last of the British forces in Malaya more or less dealt with in terms of actual bases beyond Singapore. Still waiting. I think I will give them another day's rest over here at Singapore. I could potentially change the targets from the actual airfield to the actual ground forces. That might be a worthwhile thing. I think it'd be a case where we see how much the damage is. I think I could fly and hit the actual airbase today, once again tomorrow, sorry. Hit on the 5th, I mean. Well, I mean, but that's it, Sean. I mean, it's like saying appear on his flank, but the thing is, it's like that's really like I'm going to say it's borderline impossible to do. You don't just appear on the flank, because it's like if we move the MKB from the Indian Ocean, or let's say the Dutch East Indies area in general. Well, okay, so what do? Do we move it around New Guinea? Do we move it on the underside of New Guinea through the Torres Strait, where he's going to have information about that, prior warning about that? Or do we send it all the way around Australia? So I get where you're coming from, it's just... I mean, I'm just going to leave it there. I get where you're coming from. Yeah, as you can see, he has aircraft over here at Darwin. It's a shame that we let the CL slip through, but then again, I suppose I could have been more aggressive here. It's one of those things, sometimes you have other things that actually factor larger on the mind than others. Okay. Well, yeah, Iron Duke, I mean, that's true. But you've got to remember, like, the Japanese did lose the war. I mean, we know this is a fact. But they still fought for years, and this is a thing, and this is what we'll do. I'm not fighting this game because I think I'm going to win. Well, not per se. Not completely there, Sean. I get where you're trying to go, but I think that's because you guys like watching the Allied side. You're like, yes, let's see the Japanese players suffer more. Oh, dear. It's fine. I'm going to stop talking about this because I get a bit bored talking about this sometimes. Not that I don't mind the questions, it's just one of these, they end up being quite circular. Alright, we're moving over here then with a Sasebo third. So they'll cross the river next turn. We'll hit that Dutch force. It'd be nice if I could force it to surrender, but it'll likely keep on retreating. The roads over here aren't exactly ideal towards Padang. If it was major, that'd be nice. I could march straight up to that. I could still march, but at 4 days per hex, it's not particularly worthwhile. I think what I'm going to do is have them march over here, and then march up over here towards Mechelen. It depends on really how much force we need to secure Mechelen. Yeah, exactly. We do have the actual engineers have arrived. Yep, they've arrived over here, which is good. So I could potentially have the Yokosuka move elsewhere. Do I have the mines here? I still have 11 mines, that's nice. I could send them to deal with that unit over here in Jungle Rough, but there's no point. There's a major road to this point, and there is no road there for after. So it wouldn't take that long, but it's not worthwhile. They can just rot there. It might be worthwhile to have this unit move back, and then we can have it made useful. And the beauty is I can have it move via rail. Lahat. Well, what I could do then is when we arrive in Lahat tomorrow and seize Lahat, I could actually have this unit prepared to move. Yeah, I can have it prepared to move via rail now. And then at least I could actually rail it over here to Lahat, which saves a good few days there. So I can have them in strategic mode, which will take them 2 days to pack up, and then they can get moving, man. So there's a couple days march, get them unloaded over here at Lahat, get them marching. And this is it. This secondary road over here is going to take a while. It's not worth marching it. Okay, they're still moving north. So we nearly unloaded all the supply over here. Okay. So we repaired marine vents. We have 160. I'm just going to say oil. That's better than what we had. I think it was like 150 or less than that. I can't recall exactly what it was. Submarines are obviously being attacked, and BLeAcHACiD has been nice. We do have our forces in position to move upon Tarakan. Right, they're all offloaded, which is nice. One last boat question. How's my favourite boat doing? Maya Congo. Congo is in port over here at Hong Kong being repaired. She's going to be available in a good few days. She'll be available within the month, in fact. 23 days, yep. She'll be available before the end of January, which is nice. Major damage will be repaired soon. Which will be good. We can have the Congo class then actually put alongside the Kilgore, which would be handy. It gives us a nice fast battleship there to work with. Okay. I mean, this is it. We'll have Issei repair in Singapore shortly. Yeah, that flood damage. Yeah. I still think the only Japanese strategy that might make things really interesting is take the Hawaiian Islands. It delays things in the Pacific, but it's like at what cost? It's a very hard thing to pull off. I don't think we'd been able to do that against a Dadman player. Okay. So these guys weren't that busy today, but sort of 15 fatigue, G3s, airfield there. Do I have any airfield? Right, but is there... Oh, no, there's no damage here at the moment on Surabaya. Yeah, this is it. You need a decent chunk. I think what we'll do then is we'll figure out where we need to deploy our bombers. I'm not comfortable with the situation of that many fighters being in the area. I think he's definitely been trying to lure us into this. I feel quite vindicated to like see that the worries have been realised, really. Looks like the damage has been repaired there. It's one of these things. Air power definitely has a place here, but I think what we need to do is like take into consideration that that is a threat we do not want to mess with. It can be beaten, but I don't want to in fact fight it on even terms, really. So I do have a third KOS. It might be time to really focus on Batavia. This might truly be Batavia's time. If we take a look over here, then we do have the Cato for the freezer nice and handy. How you doing, Noah? Good to have you, my friend. Yeah, nice thinking. Well, let's get the hell out of the area. We do have a 2 Sally squadrons over here as well, which is nice. And in fairness, what I could do is I can actually bring the Sally squadrons from Bangkok back down here to Malaya, potentially to Kota or elsewhere, and essentially have them pound the Singapore garrison. I think I will continue to actually keep hitting Singapore's airfield, but having the Sallies in position down here would be nice. I could have them available for hitting the ground forces there, the actual garrison. But I think having the majority of Zeros on station Palembang would be quite good to actually hit Batavia's airspace. I think a good few sweeps would start to reduce that. It would be an option, but I would absolutely push for IRL if I was in charge. I mean, it is pretty suicidal. And it does kind of lead, I mean, this is it, you have to take a lot of force, you have to do a lot, I don't know. It's an interesting one, it does slow the US down, but does it defeat them? No. It's good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. This is it, the reason why the Japanese didn't do it in real life, because they just realised it was just not logistically feasible. Okay. So we'll get the rest of the 4th Division down here. That'll be useful. Gonna keep on keep on attacking there. They'll eventually surrender, really. The 4th will arrive here, which is good. These regiments are getting ready to move out, so 140 will be moving out shortly. This is it. Soon as Singapore is captured, then the Straits of Malacca open up. I do have the DMSs on standby to go in there. And that's 15 DMSs there we can make available for that immediately. That allows us then to move the 2 regiments over here. We also do have the mixed brigade. No, actually, I think I think it's something else there. Well, that's it. Obviously, it would have been wise to not fought the war, but the thing is, they did do well enough. I mean, obviously, they couldn't last, but at least they made a lasting impression. The colossal cost, but hey. You either fight or you surrender, really, in that case. They chose fight. Alright. So if I take a look over here, then. Yeah, so we didn't get the opportunity to move these forces, so it's going to take them some time to arrive. So I could potentially go for a deliberate attack tomorrow. Well, this is it, isn't it, really? At least they fought. Right, so we'll have those artillery units moving there, and the AT guns, that'll take about 2 days. Okay. Tank regiment here. So, the 1st Independent is moving out. And these 1st Independents, they have these 16 IJ engineer squads. I wish it was reversed in terms of numbers, but unfortunately not. But they're still useful. They would possibly arrive at Clark tomorrow. It depends really on how much I want to rush this. So I've got 1885 assault value now. We could potentially wait for the additional artillery to arrive, for the additional engineer regiment to arrive. And all this time gives us the ability to replenish our forces in the field, rest their fatigue and disruption. It does give the American and Filipino forces at the same time as well, but at least we do have the bombardment, which keeps them somewhat busy. Just got a couple of vehicles, which is interesting. We're going to have to see which unit has those vehicles, really. Okay. But yes, with the 14th Army in position, that gives us a lot of additional support there. I did think about bringing the 16th Army over here, but I decided to, in fact, send the 16th Army to Bernardo, where we do have our forces being assembled. Going to be reassembling the division. There is a 2nd Division I could reform over here in the Dutch East Indies. But that regiment is on its way to head towards Wake. So it's over here. But I'll have that regiment head back in time to reform that division. Okay. Okay. So we have 56th Division here. So they're still aboard. There's some elements of here at Benjamarson. It might be the fact that I haven't moved over there, but I could even have these elements flowing out from BLeAcHACiD. But we'll get them moved in time. They get to have a little bit of an extended holiday over here to BLeAcHACiD. Mason, however you want to pronounce it. So I'm looking at nearly 2 divisions here in this rough area. Trying to assemble it all as I can. It is more or less assembled, which is nice. And we do have a Naval Guard units as well, which is handy, of course. We do have additional engineers moving out this way. I do have a 1st Independent Ranger Regiment, sorry, the 1st Ranger Regiment, which is good. So, really what we'll be looking towards doing then is choosing the location of an invasion. Near 2 divisions is probably about the minimum that I'd want to land on Java with. The earlier we attack, the better, really. We do have Naval Guard units to support it. It's one of those of where it doesn't particularly help. So I could probably secure the southern end of the island over here, like the sort of end of the island, because that clear terrain. It has 12 units over here, 8 units over here. I suppose it could be done. It depends, really. We'd have to secure the rail lines. I'd have to land at some of these bases, either Semarang or how the hell we pronounce that base. Cut these rail lines. If we take a look at the actual terrain, it would be advisable for us to try and secure the terrain. So it might be one of those of where we do move upon Batavia. Batavia would be a difficult one, but it's one of those when I could support it fairly well from Palembang. It is fairly close to the majority of where our power is naturally going to be. So it might be that we actually push towards this area, really. Yeah. It might be best to go for this. Batavia, I can't quite see what it is. I think Batavia is level 2 defensive terrain. It could be done. And it might be for the best to actually move upon here, really. Now, if this base is actually empty, I could potentially fly paratroopers in there to seize the mountainous base, which would be nice. We could potentially land over here and move inland. And that would cut Batavia off. That mountainous hex over here would be nice to secure as well. However, there's 3 units in there, so it'd be quite nasty. But that might be the best bet. It may be, in fact, that we take our invasion forces over here at Bernardo and, in fact, have them move around through here. So through the Celebes Sea, through the Sulu Sea, through the South China Sea, and around into this area. Which would probably be a decent thing to do. I could even have them rest at Singapore when we do secure it. I could take one of the actual divisions from Singapore once it has been secured. We do have the 2 divisions over here in Malaya, plus the 2 detached regiments from the division in Korea and the division in China. Alongside the Thai force, this is a pretty strong force. Yeah, okay. So that's the thing regarding Moscow. I think he even had Moscow fallen. I don't think it would have been the end. I think really, I don't know, it would have been an interesting one, really. It would have been an interesting one. Obviously, it would have given them a logistical point, but then the issue is their logistics was definitely at the limit there. But definitely an interesting one. You can imagine that the morale ramifications would have been quite huge. I think it would have been one of those where maybe it would have encouraged a potential coup against Stalin, potentially assassination, but then this is it, isn't it, really? They already had a fallback capital, which was it Kabusev? I can't remember what it's called now. I can see it in my mind, but I can't remember how you pronounce it. Kabusev? I can't believe my... fuck. Somebody will know what I'm on about. Somebody will know what I'm on about. Oh dear. Right. Some kind of the elements of the 66th over here. They're moving towards the Rabaul area to link up with the rest of the 66th Naval Guard. They're headed towards Sonoma. It's not a very large unit to begin with, but obviously I need to build it back up to its full size. Oh, I gotta sneeze again. Oh, God. Apologies there. Okay. So it's looking fairly good so far. There's a lot of logistical points to do. I think it would be wise to take our forces over here, Bernardo, and move them through here. BLeAcHACiD. Fuck, I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, no, yeah, you're right, Bear Duke. I mean, it's one of these things, isn't it? It's like the butterfly effect. It's like, well, if Moscow falls, then what else might have happened? What else might have changed? Yeah, it's just too much, really, to try and say, well, this would happen and this would happen. I think you could maybe look at things in days at best, but I don't know. It's a difficult one, really. It's a difficult one, and it's not one we could potentially ever answer. Well, this is it. How can you answer that? Unless we had some badass simulation tech. Okay. Right, I'm going to go ahead and do that, then. I think that does make sense. Let me see. I should be able to reform the 81st over here. Unless they're attached to different headquarters, that is. There we go. So we can rebuild the 81st. Excellent. Right. So we do have the 3 Naval Guard units here. I have been umming and ahhing about Tarakan. I have been umming and ahhing about that. I do have the low-value AKs and AKLs arriving here. The issue is it bloody has those subs off the coast, which is giving me bloody grief. Okay. We do have a DMS W20 there. It might be worthwhile just laying some mines just protected for the time being. How do you guys feel about this then? Do I use the 3 Naval Guard units to secure Tarakan? Obviously using the heavy cruiser that doesn't have full ammunition, which is a good thing actually, but her armor. We could obviously shield the AKLs, these slow ones, and the ones that aren't worth that much. We know Tarakan's going to be nasty. But I think it would be worthwhile doing. It would help to... It would go a long way in securing Borneo. I think probably the best bet would be to have them load up independently. Load up the Naval Guards, and then what I could probably do is land at this base and this base here. If I secure those, then they really don't have anywhere to fall back to. They could attempt to retreat to these bases over here at Katapang and Sampit, but that's some distance away. But I think it would be the best idea to secure these 2 bases first. I'm tempted to use them for like Cebu or something like that, but I think it's one of those of where we can do that in time. I think we secure Tarakan. We want to secure something first and foremost, really. If I secure the entirety of Borneo, then that is the entirety of Borneo secure. That's good. That's something that's conquered. We can then move on to something else then. So I think we'll go for that sort of approach then. How much am I going to need then for the individual Naval Guard units? Indeed, smash them up. So 1600 roughly is what I'm going to be aiming for. Okay. How much capacity do I have here? That's true capacity 1915. Not as much as you'd imagine, really. Big boy there. Okay. Well, that's enough for one of the Naval Guard units. Yeah, the rest of Tosk Tree 2 is incredible. It's one of those where it really does want to make me. It really does make me want to play like Kaiserreich. You know, the mods. It really does make me want to play that. It's been a long while actually since I read up anything really in depth regarding First World War. I think my favourite book was definitely Ring of. Was it Ring of Iron? I think it's Ring of Iron, or it might have been Ring of Steel. It's either Ring of Iron or Ring of Steel. If someone actually goes ahead and actually Googles that, they'll see the book there. And that was a fantastic read, actually. That was really interesting. Yeah, there's a lot there that I'd like to read upon, actually, especially when it touches upon the actual plans for the economic zone of like Middle Europa. That sounded really intriguing. Anyhow, I'm getting super distracted as always. We'll get them loaded. Okay, these other ones aren't too large, actually. Not too bad. Right, what I'm going to do is actually have some ships loaded with supply. Those bases appear empty. The units will carry some supply with them, which is not too bad. So I'm going to have them just load the troops now. Right, there we go. The book that I'm currently reading at this moment in time is, oh god, what's it called now? Jesus. Is it Dark Continent? Hold on, I'll be right back. Yep, so the book I'm reading at this moment in time is Dark Continent, Europe's 20th Century, by Mark Mazawa. Mazawa, I don't know how to pronounce that. Jewish fellow, I believe. But yes, that's a rather interesting book. There's a part in it where it actually talks about, obviously, I think it's like a subchapter of a chapter itself is entitled Hitler's Missed Opportunity, which is rather interesting. It talks about, obviously, the racialization, obviously the racial aspects. But it does actually really contemplate, well, what if they'd gone more so down the Rosenberg sort of avenue, sort of like encouraged these people such as Ukrainians and obviously the Baltic other nations, and essentially form something like an anti-Bolshevik sort of League of Independent Nations, obviously under the suzerainty of Germany. So that's quite interesting. Hey, doing that, Noah? Oh dear. Chat's definitely gone wild off course here. It's all good discussion. All good discussion. It's quite interesting actually. I remember talking to somebody when I went to visit university, the university I'm going to be hoping to go to. And they gave some good advice. They said essentially you don't really need to go for the history degree. You can just buy a good couple books and probably learn a good chunk of what you'd learn there anyhow. Right, so I've seen forces in Task Force 49. Did I not have enough to move them all? I was under the impression that I did. Yeah, there's more in port here. Right, here we go. Right, there we go. That's showing me what I need now. That's a big one there. Well, I can carry near enough the entire naval guard unit. Sufficient, but I do worry about it. Right, let's put a couple low value ships in there. Try and pad it out a little bit. Okay. So you can be made available for that base there, which I cannot pronounce the name. Okay. I think we do load the rest of them. I'm going to have the last force actually begin loading, but load in supply too. Then we can get them moving. I do have the additional AKs moving. It might be just one of those where we just go for it, really. I'm not losing quite a lot, and I do have a heavy cruiser to at least give us some cover. So at least that's something there. We'll see. Right, okay. Oh, they do have supply aboard. Actually, what I can do is give each of those task forces some supply. So that's excellent news there. You don't have that much fuel. You don't need to go that far. You might not even make it, in fairness. DMS will come in handy. Okay. Right, load you. Load troops only? Excellent. Oh, no. In fact, go back. Don't load. Yes, thank God. What else we got there? Right. Oh, you do have a little bit of supply there. So you could probably be alright. 329 is not a lot, but it's probably... Actually, no, I will give them another one just in case. Probably a wise thing to do, just to make sure they have a decent chunk of supply, just in case there is resistance there. I don't think there is, as there traditionally isn't, but who knows? Dadman might have changed things around on us. I don't particularly want to give him that opportunity to do so. Right, that'll be enough. Okay. It is also put the eggs in one basket, but, well, we'll see. Right, okay. So they can be loaded aboard. Have them made ready to move out. Well, let's see. I'll have them move over here, but only one hex out then. Oh no, the actual issue there regarding that is I do need to be careful of bombardment, in fact. That's something to take into consideration. I might want to go, in fact, with like a fast transport mission, perhaps. Though actually, I don't know. I'd have to double check the rules regarding bombardment. Could I move on that base without taking coastal fire from that one? I think probably. We could probably manage that. Could probably manage it. I'll have to move there. Interesting. In fact, I think the best idea would be to move to Tawol. Tawol? I don't know how to pronounce that. And then what I could do is have them all at the same base there. At least we take that British base. I could then have them move over here then. Well, that's it, isn't it, really? Yeah, it's assuming there's even troops even there, really. I agree. Or maybe we just go for Tarakan. I think maybe we just go for Tarakan straight up, to be honest. I think probably just best go for Tarakan. I mean, this is it. Obviously, I could stand to lose a lot of troops, but I think it's one of those of you never gain anything until you actually try to take something. Yeah, we do have a lot of troops. Sorry, a lot of shipping that can send in this, so at least I'll have a decent amount of cover. And that's 38 ships in there. There's enough supply. They're planning for it really loading up. Yeah, there we go. Do I take the Koi as well? I think I will take the Koi. Right. Having the actual engineers there from the start would be handy too. But we actually have some protection in here. I mean, we do have the heavy cruiser, Mayoko, so at least she actually does bring some armor there, which, who knows, might soak up some potential shots there. There's a lot of PBs. It's one of those where we are going to take damage, really. Just have to try and take it. And the good news is, ideally, with the amount of ships there, we'll have a good chunk of that supply able to arrive. Ideally unload soon enough. There's some ships there actually that are carrying supply. Actually, the majority of the ships carrying supply. In fact, no, they'll have some troops aboard. But not many. And we'll go for that then. Just have to go for it, I guess. Gets things moving, gets it underway. Okay, there's a lot of fatigue over here. Right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and run that reconnaissance here. I'll run it on night. Are you going full force into Burma after Borneo? Are you plan? Well, this is it. We do have near enough 2 divisions in the Dutch East Indies. What I'm thinking about doing is having them moved around over here, so I can actually have them deployed to push down south with the maximum amount of cover. I could move through the Java Sea, which would save a lot of time. It depends, really. I think a lot of this could probably be achieved by actually suppressing Batavia, so maybe it isn't worthwhile doing that. Maybe it is. Who knows? Java is one of the priorities, but it's not the main priority. It might, of course, be actually a worthwhile thing to do to take the division that could be assembled at Manado in time and actually have it made useful, used at Mindanao, sorry. But I think Mindanao will come in time. I think I'd rather deal with Batanum and sweep down south. The Philippines is one of those where we can deal with it somewhat at our leisure. It depends really on how we want to take it. And I do have the 2 divisions over here in Malaya. I think I could probably, I mean, this is it. I could give them another 2 divisions from Singapore. I mean, even the 4th division's taken a lot of like pounding, but it's still definitely useful. And we do have those 2 regiments that aren't even attached to their divisions. Their divisions are in Korea, and well, their divisions in Korea and in China. So we do have another 2 regiments there. We have the forces to take Java. We have the forces to obviously secure the entire Dutch East Indies. It's just a case of how do you want to go about it. I think it might be wise to potentially push for Batavia, and I think potentially pushing pushing south from over here to Palembang towards Java's not too bad. And it's one of those. Obviously, I could fly out from Palembang. I could fly from Osthaven, with fighters, which at least does reduce the range we have to cover. So at least I'll be able to give them some really decent long-range cap, which is nice. Yeah, there's a lot of things going for it. There's a base here that I could secure. I think what I'm going to have to take a look at is potentially having this base reconnaissance or reconnoitered. And then that's like one base there which secures that rail line. I mean, if I could cut that rail line by landing there, and then marching up the coast. But I think it'd be a case of we secure this base here. Obviously land here. If that's taken or not, I do not know. But that's a size 1 port, but it's a size 4 airfield, which is nice. So I could actually establish aviation support there immediately and be able to use that. I could even load land forces over here at Semarang, but I mean, that's a beautiful port. It's a really, really nice port. But you might expect us to actually land there. We've landed at size 1 ports in the past. We'll do so again, I'd imagine. I do have the LSDs around the area as well, so I could even potentially bring the landing ship docks in into this sort of operation against Java. And then obviously can unload at a superior rate there, get things off. Yeah, it might be a case of doing that. I could have those forces move up to Singapore. Have them assembled there. We'll see. We've got a lot of options. It's just a matter of a few days moving around here, really. I still need some forces out here. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think what we'll do then is we'll take Batavia's airspace first and foremost and take it from there, really. That's what we need to do. Alright, what am I doing again? There we go. Right, I got off target there. Okay. What I'm going to do then, because they're going to be loaded aboard, I'm going to have these fellows moved over here to Monado. Right, there we go. No obsolescence, which is good. I'm going to reduce that down to 50-50. There we go. Okay. I could have even potentially pushed them over here to take down, but that's okay. I've got some units over here that are doing a good job there. I might even have them pushed out to Bardwell to give us a little bit more coverage here. We do have a lot of options in fairness. Let's see. Right. And let's take a look at the actual pool that we have. So, aircraft pool. I'm going to start by name. So there's 13 zeros here in the pool this moment in time. Yeah, it is dangerous. No, I'd agree. I think any sort of amphibious landing is a dangerous thing to try and pull off. The reason why I'm potentially favouring towards the northern end of Java is because obviously it's not too far out. I'd be able to cover it from Osthaven, and Palembang. It's close to a major port of our own when we do secure Singapore. I also do have the 15 DMSs over there, so I could potentially move them over to Batavia. Trying to clear Batavia of mines. If I cleared it of mines, it would allow me to actually bring in a great deal of naval fire support, which is nice. And to my mind, the 6th division Japan uses to take Singapore and Bataan would be far better. 6? We don't need 6. We don't have 6. Oh dear. I know what you're thinking about Hawaii, but I think it's one of those where it's definitely not an easy thing to achieve. Yes, it does do a lot for you, but it's at what cost? It's definitely at what cost? And it does require the actual allied player to be somewhat unaware of what's going on, really. It can be done, but it's a very dangerous thing to do. Okay, so we have the 13 A6M2s in the pool here. How am I doing for KN-43s? And about to know. Okay, so it's 13 in the pool. I'm trying to boost the numbers so I can actually get them out there in greater numbers, really. So I can actually replace entire squadrons shortly. I don't know about that. It's one of these, when you actually take a look at the logistics of it. Okay, so let's say we secure Pearl Harbor and the Hawaiian Islands. Okay. That's good, don't get me wrong. But it does greatly inhibit you over here. There's a great chance that this could go entirely wrong and you lose a hell of a lot. Not just men, but shipping. There's a lot. It's a huge risk, and it's like, sure, you might be able to delay the US in the area for maybe a year, maybe 2 years at most. But eventually they will arrive, and eventually they'll arrive in such numbers as to be able to throw you out. It does delay them. But does it stop the inevitable? Not particularly. It's one of those. There's a few AARs on the forums. There's ones where they have been successful, but I don't know. It's not something I'd consider really as a desirable objective, really. It's not possible at the moment, particularly without the MP. But to go for... it's not possible to go for Pearl Harbor, I'd agree there. We don't need MKB to anchor... It doesn't work like that. MKB represents flexibility. It's a decent amount of air power, but it's not a huge amount of air power. What anchors the extension of our empire here is obviously these key air bases like Palembang, Makassar, Kandarai, Kopang, obviously Johor, Kota Bru. There's a lot of different air bases. The air bases are what anchor the empire here. Okay. I'm kind of waffling on at the moment in time. I don't think there's a huge amount that we need to do on this turn, so it shouldn't take too long to get through it. So I think what I'm going to do then is have some time to go through it, really. Just sort of tinker with things, look it over the production, look it over the... Oh, actually, before we do go, we'll take a look at the R&D, in fact. Take a look at that. Okay. Oh, dear. It's a bold strategy. I don't know about it being the only logical strategy. Sure, but what about the Central Pacific? The Central Pacific's a different game, isn't it, really? I mean, there definitely are air bases, but the thing is, it's like, well... no, the Central Pacific is a very different game. And let's take a look so I can actually make sure I know what you're talking about. So Central Pacific is in this area, okay. But I don't really have much reason to push out beyond this area. I would like New Caledonia, but I don't have to have New Caledonia. I do think we are capable of pushing down on these islands and pushing into this area. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think we really want to go past like this sort of line here. Midway isn't worth it. It might be something we take potentially opportunistically, but I don't think it's something I'm going to be trying to strive for. Wake is something that we do want to take due to the fact that it represents a base from which you can base PBYs, actually keep an eye on the Irish Islands, which is not as dangerous as it really could be now that we move things out of the area. But again, it's not something that we really want to tolerate, just having him handing him a position he can use. But yeah, it's one of these really. There's not many areas really in this sort of area of the Pacific where there aren't land bases that can aid. Not so much of the early part of the war, but then this is it. Everything's harder in the early part of the war because things are just not in position. You just don't have the numbers, you just don't have the aircraft models that might be able to enable you to do these sort of things. But yeah. What I'd say is think less in terms of carriers, but think more in terms of like, okay, strategic air bases really. That's what I'd say is probably a wiser idea. Anyhow, take a look at the R&D. Now, I do appreciate the points of view, but everybody has a different opinion. Not saying my opinion is right. Or any more valid than anybody else's, of course. Okay. Looking forward to the Emilys. They'll be nice. The Helens would be nice. I've never used the Helens. I'm looking forward to that. 83 is the one I'm absolutely looking forward to. Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. So we do have a level 3 facility over here, which is really nice. Well, free production facility there. R&D facilities are not there. I was about to say we've got another one for the K83s, but we do have another one for the 84. Which is actually not too bad there. You consider that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so. Maybe 7 or 8 Frank facilities there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 7. And we actually got a 3 there, some 2s. That's actually not bad going there at all, really. Well, this is it. Yes, it does take them a while, but the thing is, it can be done. It just can be done. The US has the force to be able to do that. Not easily, but it can be done over time. But as far as it goes, if let's say that we had the Hawaiian Islands, okay, how would you approach taking the Hawaiian Islands back? I mean, this is it. You save 4 divisions holding the Hawaiian Islands, okay. Well, which islands are you going to hold on to? So the thing is, you might have a division at Lahana, or you might have a division at Kona, Hilo, have the help with these places, or even one over here, okay. Well, that's fine, but the thing is, you can then be picked off. It's like a division here isn't going to be able to help a division here, so that division there isn't going to be able to help a division there. So you either concentrate or you don't. And if you do concentrate, okay, well, they only have to deal with one base. Because the Allied forces could come in here, take one of these bases here, set up shop. And essentially all they need to do is establish like aerial dominance. They can actually, even if you have mines here at Pearl Harbor, you might be able to try and lay more mines. But the thing is, they can bring in enough forces to clear those mines. Once they clear mines, you're not going to have any coastal fences that Pearl Harbor actually does start with, as they have been destroyed or removed. So then the US can actually bring all of these BBs and CAs, CLs, all these ships. And then eventually aircraft, well obviously aircraft as well, P-17s, that sort of thing. There's just a lot of firepower that can be brought against Hawaii. It is not the closest to the US mainland, but it's not that far from the US mainland. And of course the thing is as well, there's a lot of islands over here. Like we could say that French frigate shoal over here, it might be nothing right now, but it could be built up. Like these could be potentially built up. Let's see, Cure Island. Looks like they can't have any facilities, but they could still be used for AKEs. AS is that sort of thing. But yeah, probably Midway would be where it would go. So see, it's just hard as Japan. Only 3 US divisions landed on D-Day, but the thing is they had surprise there. Also, Allied support as well helps, and also the largest armada. And also being so very close to the English mainland, well, to the British mainland. And a lot of things went from there. Also, partisans helping out too. Amphibious paratroopers landed. They had a lot of things going. I'd say that this would be harder. It's like you look at contemporary times, well, contemporary politics now, and you look at the fact that obviously the Republic of China, being as close as it is to Formosa, has not yet conquered it. Well, Taiwan, I should say. Or the Republic of China, I'm going to say, in fact. They're very nasty. Amphibious landings and just... they're nasty. Especially if the enemy knows you're coming. They're very nasty. But anyhow, I forgot what my train of thought was now. And we'll go ahead, we'll leave it there. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's always been a blast. Thankfully, been rather good to us today. We haven't had any real losses. Oh, we did have an AK go down due to a plucky S-37, but beyond that, not too bad, really. Much should be done, but we are getting to that point now where we are starting to see the future unfold before us, which is excellent news. So I'm going to say a big thank you to my patrons here. So a big thank you to Alex Diligent Gravy, Mr. Baines at BLeAcHACiD, Deepak Duck, Dingobat4, Eric Wild, Erkkijuusto, Fawn4123, George Kilgore, Gregory VanHouten, Iceycrome, Ever the Chromius Ice, there is Imperator Thrawn, James Lindsay, KO, Lord Luba, Uwe, Cato, Borsh, Paradigm Blue, Paul Sanders, Raphael, Rick Chambers, Ricky Blinson, Spacht, Stanislav, SunYan, Susanna and Daniel, Tan1E, The Forgotten, Thunder, and Tim Lindholm. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are absolutely awesome. And I do hope to continue to provide ideally entertaining, yeah, content for you guys. Ah, dear. And to Sam as well, who will be renewing his membership in the future, he tells me. Thank you so very much there. Thank you to my viewers. And if you guys have enjoyed this, please do go ahead and like the video and subscribe. And see you later there, Duke. I can't wait to see you on another academic agent stream. I do like that guy. I do enjoy that. I like listening to those streams. I do enjoy the Britisher. I know you don't, but he's okay. Until next time. Thank you, goodbye. I assume in the side? Yes. I assume in the side. Goodbye for now.